It's win or go home for the San NEOPHOENIX this Sunday afternoon. Saturday they faced each other and they lost 77-70. So today they host the Hiroshima Dragonflies once again, this time in a must-win situation. If they win today, they force a Game 3 tomorrow. Good afternoon and welcome to the Toyohashi City Gym, our venue here today, as this squad of 30 Ravenna and the rest of the San NEOPHOENIX are fighting for their playoff lives. They've had one of the best records all throughout the season, but all of that goes out the window right now because when they take a look at the slate, it is 0-1. As you say, take a look at the B.LEAGUE Championship. This is for 2023-2024, and those are the 8 squads that have actually made it here. This is the big dance. You go through 60 games just to be able to make it here. Let's take a look at some of the highlights of yesterday's affair. More highlights, especially for Evans and company. Dwayne Evans led his charge scoring-wise in the first period. It was nice to see Sasaki back in very good form. Sasaki was actually the starting point guard for the NEOPHOENIX at the beginning of the season. He was beset by injuries, but now he's back and he's in excellent form here. One of the many mistakes of the San NEOPHOENIX. One of the too many turnovers. In fact, in the final minute and a half, they had 3 passing errors, which led to their loss. Sasaki, perfect pass there to Yante Matin. They're going to need more of that kind of a connection and less of the turnovers. They're going to have to stop that gentleman too. That was Takuto Nakamura. Nakamura burned them yesterday together with Ryo Yamazaki. Now, if you're a fan of these guys in white, you're hoping Nakamura and Yamazaki come up with back-to-back stellar games. 30 Ravenna had a decent game. He was beset by foul trouble though. That happens when you're guarding the opposing import. Chilid Sinepawa came up with a solid effort. Didn't really play him too many minutes, but in the end he was able to contribute when and where he was used. Same with that gentleman. Nick Mayo was scoreless up to the 4th period, and then he exploded for 6 points at the most crucial time in the final 4 minutes. Kosuke Kanemaru had his share of points, but for the star that he is, he needs to be able to come up with a tremendous showing here today. That was one of the mistakes. 30 Ravenna had trouble sleeping last night, that was for sure. But today is a brand new day, and the San NEOPHOENIX feel that they can get it. But there you see Coach Kyle Milling talking to that small throng of fans that traveled all the way here to the Toyohashi City Gym. Those are the comparative numbers yesterday. As you can see, the glaring stat, 17 turnovers. So 8 more turnovers. Everything else seemed to be in favor of the San NEOPHOENIX, except for the number of free throws made. Coach Atsushi Ono, well, his back, together with the rest of his team, are against the wall. But that gentleman there needs to come up with big numbers. And he's got to sustain that effort all throughout. Every time he's on the floor, he needs to be a threat. If he is, that's going to open up things for their world imports.
そうですね、もう本当に負けたら終わりなので、チーム全員で、手を取り合ってというか助け合って、絶対に勝たないといけないなと思ってます。 このままでは終われないので、絶対今日勝って明日につなげたいなと思ってます。相手より強い気持ちを持って、相手より勝ちたいっていう気持ちを前面に出して40分間戦いたいなと思ってます。
There you have the lineup of Coach Ono. His reliables: 30 Ravenna, number 0, number 1 Yante Maten, number 4 Cody Clark, number 14 their main Japanese gunner Kosuke Kanemaru, and of course number 23 David Dudzinski.
昨日の、反省点とかをしっかり今日で出し切ってゲーム2で何としても決めて次に勝ち進みたいっていう気持ちです。昨日ゲーム1制していてで、その辺の気持ちの若干の余裕は多分僕らに分があると思うので、勝つだけっていう気持ちでもう本当に全力で倒そうと思います。
僕はこの広島という地でこのチームでユニフォームを脱げることを誇りに感じています。
That on your screens now is the beloved Shogo Asayama, 42 years old, still playing. And at 6'4", a real asset to any squad. And there you can see him in tears. That was in his final home game. He wants to be able to progress to the playoffs as we have. The lineup here of the Dragonflies. They'll be relying once again on their world imports. Number 8, Kerry Blackshear. Number 13, Dwayne Evans. Number 24, Nick Mayo. And number 15, si Lindsay Nepawe. He's actually now si Lindsay Kawata. Heading into the championship, Sanden is actually the best offensive squad in the entire B-League. On the flip side, Hiroshima is third as far as defense is concerned. So again, it's offense versus defense here this afternoon. Now let's enjoy the introduction of the Sanden NEOPHOENIX.
けてるのろし思い出せあん時の俺はどこに Yeah 弱い自分は殺し原点回帰 いつかこのこと忘れたの夢ありあの頃のことを思い出せよ
自分たちはこうシュート決めてる時っていうのはやっぱりこう、選手もですけど、ファンの時も声出しやすいと思うんですけど、先生だったり習い悪い時っていうことは自分たちにこう声かけてもらえた方が気持ち的にもどんどん前に出る。
That's a nice matchup to look out for. Ravenna up against Mayo. You can see their numbers. Comparatively, well, Nick Mayo expected to deliver a lot more points and rebounds, but yesterday he was really held in check up until that fourth quarter where he exploded, and he was a real vital cog in that victory. Actually, Seiya Funyo also contributed, getting those entry passes. Not to mention he had a couple of steals, and he also had some points. But here's Nick Mayo in his contribution late. He came up big in the crucial stage. Now we've got to enjoy all this fanfare, because this is actually the first time Sanen has made it here to the playoffs. First time they've made it here to the B.LEAGUE Championship. And they're trying to make the most out of it. They want the victory here to force a winner-take-all game number 3 tomorrow evening. Let's see if that can happen. Or if Hiroshima wins it in 2 straight and moves on to the semifinals. No changes in the starting lineup for both these squads. Dragonflies starting out with Isaiah Murphy. They have Nakamura, Evans, Mayo, and Yamazaki. And you had the introduction there of the San NEOPHOENIX, starting out with Ravenna, Matten, Clark, Sota Ora, who has supplanted Sasaki as the starter, and Kanamaru. It's going to be Coach Ono, who's on your screens, up against Coach Kyle Milling, who you said, there he is on your screens now, and you heard him saying to his fans, to their fans, go, 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 when they won yesterday. He'd want nothing more than to get that microphone once again after this match. Our referees, we've got referee Kato, referee Kubo, and referee Ozawa. Our 3 officials handling proceedings here. Checking the starters once again. Ravenna, Matten, Clark, Ora, and Kanamaru for the NEOPHOENIX. The home squad up against the visitors. The Dragonflies have Murphy, Nakamura, Evans, Mayo, and Yamazaki. We're all set. A game Hiroshima wants, so they can move on further into the bracket. A game that Sanen wants to force a deciding game number 3 tomorrow. Who can impose their will? Who will come away with the W? We'll find out. Thanks for joining us here this Sunday afternoon. Saturday was a great affair yesterday. These 2 teams fought tooth and nail. Sanen was up by 2 at the end of the first period, 23-21. They were up by 3 after 2 quarters, 41-38. They were up by 5 at the end of 3, 59-54, but they lost that game 77-70. Brand new ball game here. First possession to the visitors. On the perimeter once again. Nakamura. Has to go to Mayo. Mayo will try to be a little bit more aggressive a little earlier, I'm presuming. Short there on that attempt. Ora comes in to help out rebounding wise. One and done on that first offensive set for the visiting squad. Matten will kick it out. Cody Clark short. Matten will get it back. Ora will launch and hit. Sota Ora has really upped his play. Same start as yesterday, 3-0. Trying to get inside that paint. Jumper will work. He can get to any spot on the floor. Talking about Yamazaki, one of the heroes yesterday. Katsad leads on to 1. They go to the wing. Open 3, 30. That rims out. Not able to save it there was Ora. That's what 30's got to do. Improve that three-point shooting. If he can get to the level of his brother, Kiefer, he'll be very deadly. Quick explosion here by Evans. They shut the door on him. Ravenna, this is where he excels in the open court. Leaked out, got the pass, and it's now a 3-point lead for the NEOPHOENIX. Evans likes a running start. Two-man game now with Mayo. The NEOPHOENIX saying that should be their ball. But there might have been a slight swipe coming from 30. Is he going to use his challenge this early? Looks like he might, yes. Looks like they're going to win that challenge. But again, you don't want to use your challenge this early in the ball game. There might be a more crucial stage somewhere down the line. That's why these coaches are getting paid the big bucks. Well, you can see where the referees were coming from. It looked like Ravenna had a swipe on that ball. But it looks like Murphy just lost it. Let's see it here. This is a clearer angle. Let's see that right arm of 30. Didn't seem like it made contact. And 30 would know. And that's why 30 actually went to his coach and said, I didn't touch it. Ooh, they're going to say he did make contact. So he's lost his challenge this early in the ball game. But still, even if they won that challenge again, I question why. Well, that's what Coach Ono wanted. He got it. 2 blocks there by 30. There's a lot of contact there from Mayo. 30 Ravenna being very active has come up with 2 blocks. Watch it here. There's one. And he stays with it. Blocks Mayo once again. Almost lost the ball. Good activity defensively shown here by the San NEOPHOENIX, who are the #1 offensive team in the B.LEAGUE. That's a great pass inside. Matten will get fouled. Niante Matten actually has a big advantage inside. I was a bit surprised that they didn't go to him as much. Ooh, if that contact's called on Nick Mayo, that's going to be number 2. It is on Nick Mayo. All 2 team fouls on Nick. He'll have to sit down. Terry Blackshear will check in for the first time. Blackshear was able to contribute quite well yesterday. Matten's going to miss the first. He knew it the moment he released it. (5-2) is still our tally. That's the second. It's now a 4-point advantage at 6-2. At the controls, as always, Nakamura up against Ora. Look at that swarming defense being shown now by the boys in red, showing that they too can play defense, but getting that floater to drop there is Nakamura. His first basket. So no score yet from the imports here. They get deep inside. Matten gets denied that time. Well, he was triple teamed. He might have been better served just kicking it out. Foul will be called, stopping the action. First team foul here on the NEOPHOENIX. Matten and Blackshear getting entangled there. First personal foul on Yante. Evans will kick it out. That's a long 3. Not going to work. Isaiah Murphy using his athleticism, grabbing that offensive rebound. Another possession here. Layup's not going to drop there, but a foul is going to be called on Nakamura. Kanemaru, check that. That's a great attack from Yamazaki. Two-man substitution, actually a 3-man sub. As Dudzitskin comes in, Hosokawa comes in together with Sasaki. Sasaki and Hosokawa were actually the starters. They had Kanemaru coming off the bench, but now they needed him to really just get something going as early as he possibly can. Split on the line, it's 6-5. Sasaki. Cat quick here. Sasaki will attack, stops, come up short. Dudzinski couldn't hold on to it, but they're going to get another possession. That's what Dudzinski does. He does a lot of the dirty work inside, but he can also hit that 3. They get it inside. Clark. Clark has yet to score. Puts up a 3, not going to work. There's Dudzinski. As we said, doing the dirty work. Puts that through, back up to a 3-point lead at 8-5. He's got the task here of trying to shut down Evans, which is very difficult to do. There's a switch. Steal here from 30. 30 has really helped out his squad. Kesirai off the glass. 3-point play in the offing here for Ravenna. He's doing it all on the defensive end. He's had 2 blocks. There's 1 steal. And he attacks Murphy. That's a smart play. High off the glass. Just the way he wanted it. Completes a three-point play. He's going to get his well-deserved rest. It's now an 11-5 advantage. Evans up against a local. Should attack. Secondary attack from the wing though. And Yamazaki scores again. Yamazaki is a solid individual. Yamauchi in place of 30. Sasaki catch and shoot. That rims out. Evans. They got numbers. The pass was behind Murphy though. Short on that three. Sasaki tracks it down. Sasaki, that's a good pass. It goes to Dudzinski. That lead back up to 6. You can see the San NEOPHOENIX running whenever they can. Trying to run their opponents to the ground as they lead 13-7. Good time out there for Coach Kyle Milling, just to get his squad a little bit more organized. They are trailing by 6. Actually, they're not doing too shabbily. Three's gonna work. That's a great play coming off that timeout. And once again, activating Yamazaki. Yamazaki is their leading scorer here today. Yamazaki already with 7 points. Boys, you know White got the stop. Looking to come closer here. Tie things up with a 3. Bounce pass. I was ill-advised. Sasaki pushes it forward. 30's gonna miss. Under 4 minutes to be played here. 30 playing major minutes. Blackshear inside. A little bit of contact, they say. Enough for Blackshear to head to the line for 2 shots. Watch it once again. Take your pick. Dudzinski with the body. Or that guy Matten, as he tried to reach in. Carey now on the line for 2. Second personal foul on Yante. He'll have to be replaced as Cody Clark will probably come back in. Second drops. Cutting that lead down to just 2. Here's Clark. Pressure the entire way. Ravenna goes to Clark. There's a triple team. Sasaki left wide open. Actually, that's Ora who's checked back in. So essentially, we got the starting unit back on the floor with David Dudzinski. Foul be called on Kanemaru. Kanemaru needs to get himself on court. But he has his hands full, trying to stay in step here with Dwayne Evans. That's his second personal foul. He'll have to take a seat. He has not been able to help out offensively. Here's Hosokawa, another gunner from the outside. Can they get some production from him? Back out. Evans. Open 3. Seiya Funyu. A little bit too strong. Ora did everything he possibly could in the box out there. As you can see, Blackshear just aggressive there with that offensive rebound. First personal foul going to be called on Sota. Nick Mayo is going to be sent back in. Remember, he has 2 personal fouls. Had to sit down early. They send him back here in the first. I would have expected to see him in the third. Actually, the second period. You don't want to pick up a third foul. Not this early. That can really change the course of this match. 2 free throws. And we're tied at 13. That is what needs to go down if the NEOPHOENIX are to be successful. The 3 ball. Dudzinski now with 5 points. Funyu, quarterback very well for his squad. In relief yesterday. Mayo, up against 30. And a foul is going to be called on 30. Not a good foul, but at the same time, that begs the question, what can you do against Nick Mayo? But just try to stop his progress. The first and 30. I like that substitution. You've got a big man who's got a lot of experience in Atsuya Ota. Put him in there. Ota is 6'9" and loads of experience with the Japanese national squad in his prime. Mayo makes both, cutting that lead down to 1. That'll be a better matchup. Mayo up against Ora. Getting it past the timeline, and a foul is going to be called on Funyu. And that foul will put the Dragonflies in the penalty as well. Ota hits. That's what he can do. He can also hit from mid-range. Those are bonus points coming from the bench from the veteran Atsuya. Blackshear tries to get inside, almost lost the handle. Puts it up. Soft touch will drop. They find Clark. Clark has yet to find his groove. Clark still scoreless. Dudzinski will launch offline. You can see he double clutched there. Quickly apologize to the bench. Funyu will bring it down. Approaching the 1 minute mark. Funyu again. But up against Dudzinski. They've settled into a zone. The NEOPHOENIX have. That'll open things up on the wing. And Funyu makes the defense pay. That zone is susceptible to the three. They go inside. Cody Clark, extra handoff. And they activate Hosokawa finally. They get him an open shot. An assist there to Ota. He has really helped out immensely here in the final minute and a half. Back up to a 1 point lead for the NEOPHOENIX. Going for the last shot is Funyu and company. Funyu's gonna have to put this one up. Long one hits! That was right on the money. Back-to-back threes for Seiya Funyu has now given Hiroshima this 2 point lead after the first quarter of play. What a spark, Atsuya. Ota has given the San NEOPHOENIX, and what a spark they also got from Seiya Funyu for the Dragonflies. Huge contributions from the bench from those two individuals for their respective squads. Hosokawa launches. He's got 2 threes. That can open up the interior now for the World Imports. Back up to a 1 point lead here for San N. Nice find. Funyu goes up high. Black shear. Straight line drive. Put up a prayer. Silid Sinepawe has checked in and gets them another offensive rebound. And they score there on that 3 from Black shear. Leads back up to 2. Hosokawa feeling it. A little bit too strong that time. Funyu calling out the play. He has set the pace here properly for his squad. Nice look inside. That was a breakdown in defense. Quick timeout needs to be called here by Coach Ono. Their team is now down by 4. Let's see this play after timeout from Coach Ono. Wanted to get his team right back in the mix of things. Clark with the handoff. Sasaki to Clark. Cody's gonna come up short. Cody has not been his effective self so far here in the playoffs. Mayo left wide open. Connects there. It's now a 7-point lead here for Hiroshima. Foul there. Stops proceedings. Nick Mayo hit that 3 just a few seconds earlier. Is actually the 3rd in 3 points this season with an exceptional clip of 41.2%. He's one of those individuals you can't leave open. You can't leave Yamazaki open as well. And that spreads the floor for this Dragonfly squad. Matin makes the first. That was quite a drought. Second will rim out. These are free throws that you just can't miss. Cody Clark with a frustration foul there. Mayo already had possession. That was a useless foul. Clark sticking to Blackshear. Cunha says, I can bring it down. And does. Look at all that movement here from the boys in white. Trying to confuse the defense. It ends up with Blackshear. Blackshear flips it up. Will miss. Good rebound there by 30. Sasaki racing down court. They go inside. Matin gets denied, but 2 more free throws. The problem is Yante Matin has already missed 2 free throws. He's got to can these 2 free throws for the NEOPHOENIX. Kamisawa just checked in and made sure there was no easy points from Matin. At the same time, he didn't want Silidze Nepawe to pick up a personal. Lead's been cut down to 5. He makes both this time. 31-27 is our tally. Now chance of defense from the fans here at the Toyohashi City Gym. Power sets that pick. Evans. Actually, Evans hasn't scored yet here. He scored 8 in the first period. McMayo forces that one up. Shot clock was winding down. He had no choice. Cody Clark puts up a 3 and hits. Cody Clark needs to start to heat up. He needs to find his range for the NEOPHOENIX to be effective. That's his first basket, and he cuts the lead down to 1. But you like the fact that Cody Clark isn't forcing things. He's still letting the game come to him. Double dribble is going to be called there on Seiya. Well, he helped out his squad already. That's a good call. Dudzinski will check in. It's Dudzinski with Yante Maten. Not quite sure about that substitution because Cody Clark just found his range. Hitting that 3. And then you send him to the bench. Hard for an import to find his rhythm in that manner. Evans. Will he try to challenge Hosokawa? He'll go to the wing. 3 not gonna work. Matten with the board. Sasaki goes high. Dudzinski. Sasaki once again. Sasaki. That pass is gonna find Matten. And it's now a 1-point lead for the squad of the NEOPHOENIX after being down by 7. 8-0 blast. Foul's going to be called on 30. That'll be number 2. You've got to be very careful about holding on to players. That's another cheap foul there from 30. And he'll have to be replaced. I know you want to stick close to your man, but you can't do it with your hands draped all over him. That's an easy call for the referees. Yamauchi checks in. Another individual that needs to be able to contribute on both ends. He's a very capable player. I'm gonna fix up a portion here of the floor. And they have. Safety first. I was surprised Coach Kyle Milling after that 8-0 blast didn't call a timeout. He's gonna wait for a technical timeout. Mayo. Mayo will try to attack. And that foul might be called on Matten. If it is, that's going to be number 3. Well, the call will go against Sasaki from the back. I know you want to help out, but Yante Matten had that situation under control. Approaching the midway point of quarter number 2. Nick Mayo gives his squad a 1-point lead. Nick Mayo takes his seat. He was able to hold on to those 2 personal fouls of his, keeping it at that. Here comes Yamauchi. Blackshear checks back in. That might be an offensive foul. It is. That's going to be number 3 on Niante. Well, he extended his arm there. You want to be physical, but you've got to be very careful. It's got to be under control. Coach Ono accepting the decision there. He has to. The referee saw that clearly. 1-point lead for Hiroshima, and they've got possession. Now Evans will bring it down against Cody Clark. Forced back into action. That might be a good thing. But it's not a good thing to let Evans get his first basket here. He went all the way to the cup, and there was no help whatsoever. As we get to this official timeout, it's a 3-point lead enjoyed by the visitors. That's a good reply here by the Dragonflies. After that 8-0 blast, seeing their 7-point lead get erased, they come right back, and now they're up by 3. Ora tries to go inside the pass, just slightly behind Dudzinski. Boy, the Dragonfly showing a lot of poise and composure here. Just like what Coach Kyle Milling mentioned yesterday in the interview. Since they made it to the playoffs last year, they're really taking advantage of the experience they learned. San and NEOPHOENIX are the favored squad. That's why we're playing here in their home court. The favorite squad down by 5. Yamauchi doesn't want to launch. Good switching defense there. Inside, Dudzinski gets away. That's good patience shown by David. Still a 3-point lead for the Dragonflies, and they've got possession. Here comes Evans once again. Almost lost it. We'll lose it there to Yamazaki. That's a good foul. They're stopping the action. First personal foul. Going to be called on Dwayne. Yamauchi will take a seat. 30 sent back in. Yamauchi just got a steal. That foul will put both teams now in the penalty. Not the best of fouls there from Nakamura. That's his first. We're gonna have free throws the rest of the way here. Clark gets it to Sasaki. Sasaki, nice find. Cody Clark through the corner. Yes! We're tied at 37. What patience again shown this time by Cody Clark. Letting the game come to him. Blackshear up against Dudzinski, will kick it out. Nakamura, back up high. Forces up a three. Had to throw that one up. Shot clock was down to 1. Defense realized it. Isaiah Murphy couldn't save that. Ooh, they're gonna call a foul on Kanamaru. That'll be number 3 on Kosuke. Murphy's gonna miss the first. Murphy is a very active individual. Almost got his squad another possession. Well, he actually did. Getting them some free throws, but he's got to make these. Missed the first. Second, a little bit too strong. But they get it back. Not quite sure why they're rushing their shots. They had a brand new 14 to work with there. That bit of impatience just might cost them. Ora finds Dudzinski. Hosokawa. Nice bounce pass. 30 will overshoot, but we're going to call a foul. So free throws now for Ravenna. That's going to be called on Murphy, who bungled his 2 free throws earlier. Watch this play evolve. Look at all that movement. Murphy claiming there wasn't too much contact with that second personal foul on him. He's going to get the roll on that first free throw. This game has been a game of runs. Solid start for the San NEOPHOENIX, getting off to a 6-point advantage at 11-5. And then in the second period, it was a run, this time put together by the Dragonflies as they led 31-24. And now it's a 2-point lead for San N. Ravenna now with 7 points and 2 rebounds. Approaching the final 2 minutes of the first half. Nice attack there. Dudzinski tried to go for the swipe and he paid the price. We're tied at 39. Dudzinski finds Ora. Dudzinski falling away. Will get that to drop. Now 11 points here for Dudzinski. Go back inside. That's a poor foul. Wide reach. He got the possession already. Now by reaching in, you just give the officials a chance to blow that whistle. That's inexperience. Blackshear takes advantage, makes that first. You battle him for position. When he gets the ball, then you hold your ground. Second free throw coming up here to tie things up once again at 41. Our fourth deadlock. Our third deadlock here in the second period. They go to Clark. Clark tries to barrel his way inside. That's a forced shot. And they're now playing 5 against 4. Now Clark comes into your picture. A little bit too strong for Nepawe. 30 with possession. We'll kick it back out. Clark. He can hit it from there. You want to challenge. Why not? He's much quicker than Nepawe. Give him the basketball in the wing. Thirty forced that one up as well. Evans, as the San Antonio Phoenix were complaining down about a foul, he just went straight to the basket on the other end. There's no way you can waste time complaining about fouls. Not in the playoffs. Every basket counts. And Evans realizes that one. Took it straight to the hole. Watch him ask for it here. And said, thank you so much. Easy bucket. Fraction of a second difference from the game clock and the shot clock. You expect the NEOPHOENIX to take the final shot here. At worst, they're down by 2. Cody Clark gets it forward to Dudzinski. And as expected, they'll use up the clock here. Now they go for it. Hosokawa from the wing, just short. That's a great block. Cody Clark really has been struggling with his offense here today. And 2 quarters are done. Here in game number 2 of this quarterfinal series. See that block there from Evans? Preserving that 2-point lead. And at the halftime break, this crowd has been silenced as the Dragonflies lead by 2, 43-41.
際は足元に十分ご注意ください。
マルゲン熟成醤油スープに豚の希少部位が踊るしゃぶしゃぶ発想の奇跡の一杯。世の中にないラーメンを作りたかった。熟成醤油ラーメン肉そばマルゲンラーメン。
日本生命 B リーグクォーターファイナル2023-24物語コーポレーションプレゼンツ 3NEOPHOENIX ホームオープン 3NEOPHOENIX 対広島ドーム開催ビレグ2。本日のハーフタイムショーは我らがファイナルアーズミュージックパフォーマンスをお届けします。ぜひ会場の皆さんもですね、ペンライト、そして手拍子でですね、ハーフタイムを盛り上げていきましょう。センキューファイナルゴール。皆さん今一度大きな拍手をお送りください。
OSG は世界品質の製品を提供し続ける信頼のブランドとしてものづくり産業を地球規模で支えていきます。 OSG Shaping Your Dreams。 私たちが作るのは木造住宅の未来。独創性の高い高性能なメカットマシンは今を勝ち抜く力となる。匠の技を機械化する会社宮川工機。
材と消費財 B2B と B2C 国内と海外垣根を越えて丸ごと全部山善。
配達に GO！ それトピーなんです。ホイールからモビリティ社会を支える、これもトピーの仕事の一つです。 GO！
広い車は欲しいけど維持費とかがちょっと心配。そこで厚みに相談だ。厚み、
車のことなら何でもかんでも。
厚み厚み厚みモータース。
それではここで B リーグパートナーズをご紹介いたします。 B リーグトップパートナーソフトバンク、 B リーグパートナーズ富士通、日本郵便、 G ショック、日本生命、 B リーグサポーティングカンパニーズ朝日新聞、日本経済新聞社、大塚製薬、野村工芸社、 EY ジャパン、ヤフー、エニタイムフィットネス、アーシャルデザイン、 B リーグサプライヤーズ、モルテン、アダストリア、 B リーグエンターテインメントパートナーソニーミュージックエンターテインメント、 B リーグコミュニケーションパートナー LINE、 B リーグスポーツ振興パートナースポーツくじウィナー。以上 B リーグパートナーズのご紹介でした。
Actually, a very good quarter for both these squads. And 30 Ravenna having a good game personally, defensively there with 3 stops. Getting the block there, Nick Mayo. And here comes up with another steal. Kisses it off the glass. Gets fouled there by Murphy. And he will complete that 3-point play. And a solid outing again for Ryo Yamazaki. Hitting from just about anywhere. That's what he can do. And he also plays tough D. Good contributions here from Matsuya Ota. Not to mention the fact that Seiya Funyu delivered 2 threes. Here's the second one. In the nick of time, that will give his squad a 2-point lead after the first period. Look at this, just too many turnovers, too many second chance points given by the NEOPHOENIX, and a breakdown in defense there. Nepawe has really helped out his squad. Look at him set that pick, opening up Nick Mayo for this 3. Cody Clark finally found his range, and then he was promptly replaced. Evans, not as explosive as he was in game number 1, but he has picked his spots properly, and it's worked out well. And he came up with a big block here. First quarter ended 23-21 in favor of Hiroshima. And here at the halftime break, as you take a look at the numbers, it's 43-41 in favor of the visitors. The visitors from 2-point country shooting much better at 64%, though that's just one more field goal really. And it's balanced out by the 3-point shooting of Sanen at 42% as compared to 35%. And the reason why they're up by 2 is because they made 3 more free throws. Look at those numbers though. As far as turnovers are concerned, that's what you like to see from both coaches. 3 turnovers for Sanen, just 5 for the Dragonflies. So both these teams taking such good care of that basketball. Points in the paint just about even, 14-16. But look at this, 12-0 fast break points. Sanen, which was the instructions of Coach Ono, is they said they wanted to push the pace, quickly get down court, get some easy baskets. As we have this 3-player matchup, it's Ravenna up against Nick Mayo. And they mirror each other just about. Look at that, 7 points, 2 rebounds for 30, 3 rebounds for Nick. That's how close this affair has been. And we expect it to be just this close in the next 2 periods. Doesn't look like Nick Mayo is going to be starting. As we take a look at the top scorers for both these squads, Dudzinski with 11, Ravenna with 7, Matin, Clark, and Hosokawa. All 3 of them with 6 apiece. That's good balanced scoring. Balanced scoring here once again. Also, Blackshear with 12, Mayo with 7, Yamazaki with 7, and Funyu and Evans with 6 apiece. We're watching a classic unfold right here at the Toyohashi City Gym. A must-win situation for the NEOPHOENIX, or else their season is over. But the way Coach Kyle Melling is telling his boys, this is also a must-win situation for them because they do not want to go to a do-or-die game number 3. They do have some room of error, essentially a twice-to-beat advantage here. But Coach Kyle Melling says, nope, we're not going to get there. We want to win this one right here, right now. No more practice tomorrow. No more shoot-around. We'll take a break as we prepare for the semifinals. Let's see what transpires. Misfiring there. And I think a foul is going to be called. Pushing. That might be on Kanamaru. If it is, or will it be on 30? Well, it wasn't 30 there. That was clearly a push. Can't really complain about that call. Now 30 with 3 personals as well, together with Yante Matin. Evans push shot works. Leads back up to 4. That 4-point lead is a luxury at this stage. It's been a low-scoring affair. See if they can get Kanemaru involved offensively. Dudzinski will force the issue. Not gonna work. Let's see if the offense of Hiroshima tries to attack 30 Ravenna, who does have 3. They go to the wing. Open 3 for Evans. Swish. He now has 11 points. It's now a 7-point advantage. Ora looking for space. 2-man game with Dudzinski. 30 will attack. They want to take that open 3. Kissed it off the glass. He now has 9 points. Wanted to go for the sure basket. Yamasaki will bring it out. Blackshear trying to make his move. Slight nudge. It's going to be called a jump ball. And possession arrow says NEOPHOENIX. That's good defense once again. 30 now with 3 stops, all by his lonesome. Sasaki will go outside. Clark has really been held in check here. Puts up a hurried 3. Not a good shot. Yante Matin battling. A little bit too strong. Will misfire once again. So many missed opportunities for Matin. And he's been huddled here also with 3 fouls. Not the best of passes. And still on the floor there is Blackshear. Blackshear didn't even go back down on offense. A lot of misses there from Matin. Blackshear says he's okay. They look for Hosokawa. Not good spacing. Now Sasaki. They got a mismatch down low in the block. A travel is going to be called here in Clark. That's why coaches stress, make your decisions quickly. He double clutched. He was thinking of whether to pass, whether to shoot. Hence the travel. The offense isn't flowing here for the San NEOPHOENIX today. Hiroshima with possession. Almost a steal here from Clark. Evans holds on to it. That's a long 3. That rattles out. Sasaki collects. Matin with a handoff. The pass will go awry. They got a lot of movement. The defense was scrambling. But in the end, they'll get no shot. Still a 5-point lead enjoyed here by the Dragonflies. They find Blackshear. Blackshear felt he got pushed, but they're going to retain possession. .606 still to be played here in the third. Nick Mayo will check back in. That is more problems defensively here now for Sanen. Evans, quick hit. He had to. Shot clock was down to 2. The pass there to Dudzinski, telegraphed. And Evans is going to bring it up and waste clock. Evans to the wing, extra pass. Not going to work that time. And Yamazaki apologizes. There was a pass, it was just telegraphed. Evans has been helping out his squad, not just offensively today, but also on the defensive end with that big block, with that steal you just saw, and numerous rebounds. Moving that ball around, it finds Matin. Open 3, Dudzinski, yes! That's going to cut the lead down to 2. And Dudzinski, with one of his better scoring days, has 14 points. Mayo tries to extricate from the free throw line. That rattles out. Silid Sinepawe being very active on the boards. That's a good box out. That was touched last by Silid Sinepawe Kawata, as he's now called. With possession, the NEOPHOENIX looking to tie things up here. Sasaki, the flip, no. Look at Nepawe just control those boards on both ends. That's where he helps. That's where he's a monster. Double team there. 30, almost with a steal. Stolen there by Sasaki. We talked about Sanen being the #1 offensive team in the B.LEAGUE. Hiroshima being the #3 defensive squad in the league. But right now, Sanen showing we can play defense too. But that vaunted offense of theirs has to start humming. They need to score. Second personal foul going to be called on Seiya Funyu, who just checked in. Exceptional contributions by Funyu in the first half with those 2 huge threes. They look inside. Dudzinski from the wing. Yes! We're tied at 48. As we said, we're going to have a ball game, and this is going to go all the way down to the end. Exciting day for basketball this Sunday afternoon. Thanks for joining us. They send it out. Funyu gets it to Evans. Up against a local. He'll step back and take that three and miss. That's a shot they're going to give Evans all day. Ravenna will challenge, kicks it out. He'll be fouled. Only the second team foul on Dragonflies here in the third. Picked up his dribble there. First personal foul going to be called on Yamazaki. They'll take a brief rest. Nice play inside. Dudzinski moving so well without the basketball. It's now a 2-point lead for the NEOPHOENIX at 50-48. Dudzinski now with 18 points. And Sanen has quietly retaken the lead. Blackshear back in. An offensive foul is going to be called there on Funyu. Sotaora got hit in the face. And he went down like a sack of potatoes. Watch it here. There was contact, definitely. Funyu doesn't agree though. That's going to be his third personal foul. And Sotaora still down. They're going to check this to see if it's unsportsmanlike. If it is, that'll be a big call. That'll mean 2 free throws here for the NEOPHOENIX and also ball possession. Well, they do have ball possession. Let's watch it here. The flailing on the arms. That was inadvertent. Should be just a regular foul. But again, sometimes it really depends on the different angles that the referees look at it. You just can't judge intent. They're discussing it there. .3:11 to be played here in the third. Just a regular foul as expected. So it's going to be the third on Funyu. But Coach Kyle Milling says, well, compared to my starters, I'd rather have him with 3. Nick Mayo's back in. Hosokawa as well. Hosokawa hit 2 threes in the first half. Yamauchi also back on the floor. He had 1 steal. So he's helped out defensively. He can also space out that floor. He's got a deadly shot from the outside. Look at all the movement once again from the boys in red. Little bit of misdirection. Matten gets fouled. Very close to a travel there from Yante. But now he left to the line for 2 shots. Quickly went up there. Take your pick. There were 3 imports around him. And they give it to Carey. His second. He's going to miss a free throw. He's missed 3 already. Boy, those are 2 missed free throws. Add to his growing number of misses. And the lead just still at 2. Funyu will bring it down. Up against Ora again. That's the matchup that we've seen. Nepower given a lot of space. He can't hurt you from out there. Nick Mayo can hurt you from just about anywhere. Foul's going to be called down on the floor though. Hosokawa clearly fouled him. Just taking the foul. Dragonflies already in the penalty. 2 more fouls to give by the NEOPHOENIX. That flip not gonna work. Look at them battling for it. Yamauchi takes it away. That's his second steal. Sets up this 3. Ora can't hit. Ora was hitting that very consistently during the regular season. Today he struggled from deep. 3-second violation is going to be called. But Ora saying, okay, I can't hit the outside shot, but I'll make up for it defensively. Another stop by the NEOPHOENIX. Not really known for their defense. They are number 1 in offense, but today they're saying it's the playoff. And we're fighting for our lives here. And they're showing it. Coach Ono's got to be pleased. Kanemaru's on the bench. He has not contributed to his squad here except for these 3 fouls. They swing it. Dudzinski, open 3, yes! He saw just a small space, that was enough. Dudzinski now with 21 big markers, and that lead is back up to 5 for the San NEOPHOENIX. Now chance of defense as we watch this play unfold from Coach Kyle Milling. Forced shot there. Seafunyu doing a little bit too much. And Soto Ora was right there in front of him to shut that play down. He was trailing, he didn't need to shove him. Yamauchi giving them quality minutes here. Dudzinski rolls to the corner. 3 from Ora. Not gonna work. Boy, if those 3s just went down, this would have been a huge margin here for Sanen. Quickly, Nakamura scores inside. Cutting that lead down to 3. Under a minute to be played here. Dudzinski will attack, but the problem was he stepped on the sideline. That happens a lot. A lot of players are looking for some momentum going towards the basket, turnover. Mayo for the tie. That was close. The pass. Tipped. Yante Maten with a big slam. Clock continues to run. 8 points in the contest for Yante Maten. Now a 5-point lead for their squad. Which is what they also had entering the fourth period yesterday. Foul is going to be called. That's going to be on Dudzinski. That will be the third team foul for Sanen. They still have one more to give. Not quite sure you want your World Imports to give it up though. .3 remaining here. Inbound from Nakamura. Almost a violation, Nakamura. Using that pick from Blackshear. Forces up a 3. That's short. And the Dragonflies will run out of time. Again, another big defensive stop here by the NEOPHOENIX. It has been a low-scoring affair. Fourth quarter, right around the corner. And it's a 5-point advantage heading there for Sanen. Fourth quarter is upon us. Could this be the final quarter of the Sanen NEOPHOENIX? Or can they rise to the occasion here and force a game number 3 tomorrow? We'll find out in the next 10 minutes of play. Evans won't get that pass. Stolen once again by Yamauchi. Yamauchi has helped out his squad, not scoring-wise, but he's got 3 steals. Look at it come right back to the play. Release Dudzinski. They're going to get another possession. Can they get it in bounds? Finally they do. Almost a 5-second call. Coach Kyle Milling livid there on the sidelines. Yamauchi, a deep one. Good line. Short. Nice smile from Yamauchi. He was just a little too far out. That would have been huge though if he knocked that one down. Back as a defensive stopper here. Isaiah Murphy inside, yes! First basket for Isaiah, but again, a very active individual. Cody Clark. It's now his time to shine. His squad up by 3. They need his scoring. They need his leadership. Udzinski has taken the cudgels off the offense. Here comes another 3. Why not? Today has belonged to David Udzinski with 24 points. And the lead is back up to 6, matching their biggest lead in the contest today. Evans. Evans still against Udzinski. Sets up Carey. Clary. Ooh, there's going to be a foul. Shot clock was down to 1. They got bailed out there. Yamauchi will be replaced. He was able to help out his squad definitely today. Yante Matin's scoring has been down, but they need to send 30 back in. He makes a lot of things happen for his squad as well. 3 from the wing. Falling asleep defensively there. That's coming up with another basket was Nakamura. He's got 8 points in total. 30, left wide open. That will not drop. Again, as we mentioned, that's what 30 needs to be able to improve on. If that was Yamauchi, that probably would have gone down. 2 minutes gone in the fourth. Sasaki gets it up to Manton. He almost lost it. Now to Clark. Clark will attack. And a travel is going to be called. Boy, Cody Clark has not been in his element today. Clark only with 6 points, 4 rebounds. He does have 3 assists. But he's much better than that. They got to try to increase this lead because they're going to send in, talking about Hiroshima, they're going to bring in Nick Mayo in a bit for the strong finishing kick. Clark will pick up a personal there. Got to give the player some space to land. 3rd personal foul on Cody. He's got to try to help out in other departments. Not wanting to challenge there. Yamazaki. And then eventually he'll go to the hoop and put it through. He's got 9 points. Asking for a foul. Referee say no. But a quick timeout will be called here. 7:25 still to be played. As you watch that last play unfold. He'll bring it closer.
タイムアウトでフェニックスコールのスタートです。さあみんなの感じをフェニックスコールせーの。
This is going to go down the wire, just like in game number 1 yesterday. Proving steadier down the stretch were the Dragonflies because of 3 turnovers of poor passes by the NEOPHOENIX. Pocket pass, Yante Matin just throws it up. That's not going to work. Gary Blackshear with the handoff. The pass goes awry. And now it's Hiroshima with a lot of missed opportunities. Sasaki will misfire. That's usually money. A lot of open threes that usually went down during the regular season. Not dropping here for Sanen. Blackshear, the flip, short. Rebound to Ravenna. Ooh, they're going to have a late call, I believe. Ooh, a technical foul, they say. Blackshear said something that didn't appeal to the referees. That's going to count as a personal. That was good defense. And those gestures that he had on the floor didn't sit well with the officials. He continues to talk. He's got to be careful. That technical foul will be number 3. He gets to the bench. As we expected, Nick Mayo back in here. Dudzinski takes care of the first. And they're going to get possession. Well, they actually had possession already. That'll add to their tally. 59-57 is our scoreline. Thirty will bring it down. Almost a poor pass. And it's eventually picked off. That's what did them in yesterday. Extra pass. Another one. Nick Mayo there ties things up. Nick Mayo now with 9 points. This is where he likes to explode in the 4th period. They get it inside to Matin. Nice look. Moving well without the basketball is 30. He's going to get another basket. He's in double digits with 11 points. Chance of defense once again from the fans here at the Toyohashi City Gym. Nakamura will give it up. Fine Evans. Evans looking for a running start here once again. Will put up that 3. That's going to be in 3 free throws. That's a very poor foul from Yante Matin. You don't foul a jump shooter, and you don't foul a jump shooter from 3. And that's going to be the 4th personal foul also on Matin. Closed out. Made contact. He's going to try to have to appeal to a higher court here. He's got to be very careful as well because he's got 4. 3 shots now for Evans to give his squad the lead. The first is down. The lead is down to 1. We're tied at 61. Now for the 1-point lead. Hiroshima pride, they say. A little bit too strong. They're deadlock at 61. Our sixth tie of the ball game. Ravenna grabbed the board there. Will prove steadier down the stretch. Open three. That time it's not going to work. Put back. Denied. Matin. Stop once again. At the right place. At the right time. 30 Ravenna skying high. Back up to a 2-point lead for the NEOPHOENIX. Mayo will give it up. Not wanting to force the issue. Matin. With 4 personal fouls. Will challenge there. Looks like a foul is going to be called here in Evans. Wow, that's a big call. As 30 got hit in the kisser. 30 being very active all over the place. He got hit there in the box out. Evans continues to jaw with the referees as we take this break. Our final official timeout of the ball game. Final stretch here of game number 2. It's a best of 3 quarterfinal series. There is a poor pass. That is what did them in yesterday. Ora, 10-30, relax. 2-point lead enjoyed by the NEOPHOENIX. They go to the wing. Open 3. Swish. 12 points now in the contest here for Yamazaki. And a quick timeout will be called by Coach Ono. Wanted to get his team right back on track here. Wide open. Nothing but the bottom of the net. Ora almost lost it. Wow, that would have been another disaster here for the NEOPHOENIX. Dudzinski has been their main man scoring-wise. Hosokawa will find 30. 30 goes inside, gets denied. Approaching the 4-minute mark. Big three. That was going to be huge. That would have given them the 4-point lead. They're still up by 1. Matten with the seal. Will kick it back out. But they're going to say there's a travel first. Another turnover for the NEOPHOENIX. They've got 11 turnovers now. On the other side, Hiroshima with 15. Nakamura calling out Nepawe. They like Silidsi in there. And why not? He is their naturalized player. That's an added individual that can actually get them rebounds. Hosokawa, active hands. Shot clock is down to 2. Evans and company know it. Catch and shoot here. They need something going towards the basket. And they'll get it. Wow, a breakdown there defensively. You've got to stay in between your man and the basket. Now a 3-point lead for Hiroshima. Dudzinski will try to challenge. Force 3, not going to work. Dudzinski with the offensive rebound. 30 didn't want to have anything to do with that 3. Hosokawa, yes! We are deadlock at 66. That is his specialty. Approaching the final 2.5. Who can execute down the stretch? Almost another steal there. The passes have been a little soft from both these squads. Hosokawa with 3 threes. So it's going to be Matten and Dudzinski here in the end game. Why not? Dudzinski has been on fire. And Cody Clark has been ineffective. That's a 4 shot. Coming in to grab that rebound. Another possession here as we approach the final 2 minutes. Shot clock's down to 7. Evans. Sidestepping move. And they're going to call a foul. That'll be on Sasaki. Well, there was a lot of contact. At the same time, you could have challenged, but Sanen already used their challenge in the first period. NEOPHOENIX in the penalty here. Big free throws. Once again for Evans. He had 3 earlier. Made 2 out of 3. Misses the first. And the fans loving it here. One more. But they've gotten a lot of offensive rebounds. Talking about this visiting squad. Evans cans that free throw. So Coach Atsushi staying here with Yante Matten. Cody Clark still on the bench, itching to get in. But you can't bring out Dudzinski. He has been on fire for his squad. It's a 1-point lead by the visitors. Sasaki. They get it to Dudzinski safely. Now Sasaki. It's Sasaki and Ora playing at the same time. Together with Hosokawa. Sasaki. Another poor pass. And another turnover. The pass was behind. So no 30 Ravenna here. They're do-it-all glue in the final 137. Just a 1-point lead enjoyed by Hiroshima. They're looking for some insurance points here. Nakamura finds Evans in the curl. Tries to kiss that off the glass. Not going to work. Evans with the offensive rebound. You're going to use clock once again. Evans looking for one of those running starts of his. Sweeping hook, no. It's going to be a jump ball, they say. And the possession arrow says, looks like it's an end. Nice rebound there by both those individuals. Well, the big question here is, who will be willing to take the big shot for the NEOPHOENIX? Down by 1. 1:04 remaining here. Matten just traveled. Dudzinski has not held the ball here in the last minute and a half. Sasaki with the ill-advised pass a while ago. Hosokawa hit that big 3. Ora to Dudzinski. Matten up high. Not exactly his specialty. Ora. Dudzinski, fall away. Short. $39.8. Still just a 1-point lead for Hiroshima. Nobody seems to be able to score here in the final 2 minutes. Blackshear sent in. I'm surprised there is no Nick Mayo for the Dragonflies. He was their steadiest player down the stretch in game number 1. He's on the bench here. Also, no 30 Ravenna, not even for defensive purposes. It's still Sasaki. So Hosokawa is guarding Evans. Let's see if Hiroshima tries to look for that mismatch. And they get it to Evans. Evans gave it up. We'll get it back. And look at this, a 3-point play there for Evans. They were looking for that mismatch the entire way. Hosokawa is a decent defender, but not as strong as 30. Timeout on the floor. We'll be back. That timeout was obviously called by Coach Ono just in case there's a missed free throw. He wants to make sure that his squad knows what they need to do coming down on the offense. They are down by 3. But if Evans makes this free throw, it's going to be a 2-possession ball game. That's going to change the complexion of these final 20 seconds. That rims out. They got the miss. Now they're going to need a 3 to send this into overtime. Dudzinski was asking for it. Dudzinski was actually free at the corner. There he is telling his team, I was wide open. 13 foul, 12.3 remaining. Ora can hit that 3. Dudzinski can hit that 3. You might want to send in Cody Clark, who is also another one of those players that can hit from long range. That's the final foul that they can give. At the same time, Hiroshima can actually just look to foul and send Sanlen to the line for 2 shots. Not allow them the 3. Unless you want to force a forced 3. 2 schools of thought there. But now both teams in the penalty. Yante Maten is not a threat from 3. Might have been better to send in Cody Clark. 3 on the way. Ora. No. And that will do it for the San NEOPHOENIX. Shogo Asayama. Kyle Milling. Kerry Blackshear. Dwayne Evans. Silid Sinepawe. Nick Mayo. And the rest of the Dragonflies are into the semifinals, winning this one 69-66. Again, just like yesterday, a strong fourth quarter push got them the victory. They were leading the entire season. And here, at home, they get knocked off. That's got a sting. Yesterday they were up 59-54, heading into the final quarter, and they lost the ball game by 7. Today they were up by 5 again, 55-50, but they couldn't get it done, losing 69-66. Stick around. We're going to hear from Coach Kyle Milling in a bit. That is what you don't want to see. Your opponents celebrating on your floor. That is going to hurt. They came away with 2 straight victories here at the Toyohashi City Gym. And both of them were come from behind victories, proving steadier down the stretch. And again, similar to what Coach Kyle Milling said yesterday, it was again the experience of being in the playoffs previously. Coach Kyle Milling getting ready to be interviewed, and at the same time, the San NEOPHOENIX will address their fans for one final time this season.
ヘッドコーチお疲れ様でした。昨日に続き激しいゲームでした。今日のゲームを振り返ってお願いします。
こんにちは、ありがとうございます。Bonjour Julietto, on a gagné du doigt dans le nez. No, the game was. I'm just so proud of the players. Besides the game, we've worked so hard the last few months, all year, and to come out here and beat Cyan in 2 games, I'm just really proud of the work the players have done.
いや本当にゲームどうこうというよりまず選手たちをまず誇りに思いたいなというふうには思います。この日のためにやっぱり日々本当に毎日努力して一生懸命努力してこの日を迎えたので、本当に今日2試合しっかりと勝てたので、本当に選手たちの努力であったりは本当に尊敬の値するものだと思いました。誇りに思います。
はい、チームとして初めてのセミファイナルに、駒を進めることができました。多くのブースターさんに支えられて今日のゲームを勝ち切れたと思います。セミファイナルに向けて意気込みをお願いします。
First of all, I want to go home. I want to have an Asahi, a big Oki beer first, and Dad, I'm not biting my lip tonight.
まずしっかり休んでですね、ちゃんとしっかりミーティングして、また次どうやろうかっていうのは考えたいと、思います。
はい、今日もアリーナにはたくさんのブースター、そして画面の向こうにたくさんのブースターがいます。いつものやつお願いしていいですか。
Dragonflies fan 一番 No.1 in all of Nihon. So, 皆さん。
今シーズンを振り返って一言ファンに向けてお願いします。
そうですね、夏から本当に CS で優勝するためにやってきたんですけど、本当に今悔しい。
大丈夫ですか。大丈夫ですか。ヘッドコーチじゃありがとうございました。
You can see the respect that they have here in Japan for their co-competitors. The San NEOPHOENIX were actually addressing their fans, but Coach Kyle Milling wanted to make sure that he and his squad, together with their fans, were able to celebrate that one, even quietly.
はい、エヴァン選手お疲れ様でした。非常にタフな展開でしたけれども、今日のゲームを振り返ってお願いいたします。
Man, it was an amazing night, man. We fought our asses off for 40 minutes. It was ugly, but that's playoff basketball. So I'm proud of our guys, and I'm looking forward to keeping the season going as long as possible.
いや本当にタフな戦いでしたし、やっぱり本当に泥臭い40分間のゲームだったなというふうには思いますが、やっぱり40分間しっかりと戦い抜きましたし、こうやって勝利ができたので嬉しく思ってます。
はい、苦しい場面の時こそエヴァン選手が中心となってチームを引っ張っているという姿勢が非常に印象的でした。そういう時はどんな風な心境でプレーしてましたか。
Man, just no matter what happens, man, to keep pushing. That's what I'm always telling them. Just it's always going to be runs in a game, but we have a great team here. We got great spirit, great vibes, and we showed it tonight.
いや本当にどんな状況の時もやっぱり諦めずにしっかりと僕たちのバスケットボールをしようと諦めずに戦っていこうという気持ちを持っていましたし、本当にそれは選手たちにも伝え続けていました。こうやってバスケットボールの波のあるスポーツだと思いますが、本当に自分たちのバスケットをしっかりと最後まで戦い抜くことをしっかりと考えながら今日戦い抜けたんじゃないかなと思います。
はい、そんな強い仲間とですね、次セミファイナルにチームは駒を進めました。はい、次のゲームに向けて、そして多くのブースターに向けてメッセージをお願いします。
Man, to the fans, I mean, look at all this orange here today. This is amazing. Everyone watching at home, thank you so much. And we need you next week more than ever. So let's get it, and let's try to get a chip, man. ありがとうございます。
いや本当にこういったドラゴンフライズのファンの皆さんの声援のおかげで今日勝てたと思いますし、来週はセミファイナルですので、もっともっと声援が必要です。しっかりと今日来週もしっかり勝ってですね、チャンピオンシップ行きましょう。ありがとうございました。
お疲れ様でした。セミファイナルも頑張ってください。
We should be having the highlights for you in just a bit. And then we'll break down the numbers before we call it a day for your B.LEAGUE coverage here for Sunday afternoon. And again, I'm sure you were really entertained. Unless, of course, you're a fan of the San NEOPHOENIX, and you can see just how dejected they are here. Coming up short twice at home. Visibly dejected, and why not? They were on top of the standings for most of the season, and they wanted to make a solid run to the championship, to the title, but they get knocked off here in the quarterfinals. And tears all around at the Toyohashi City Gym. What a huge letdown here for the fans of the NEOPHOENIX, and all of them really in tears. They are heartbroken, and you gotta feel for them. These fans in Japan are just so passionate about their squads, and when their squad had so much promise heading into the playoffs, heading into the championship, you don't want to get knocked out in round number 1. Check out the highlights here. Game number 2. Quarterfinal matchup of the San NEOPHOENIX and the Hiroshima Dragonflies. Exactly the same start, 3-0. Ora hitting a 3 there, but unfortunately couldn't hit after that. 30 with 2 blocks and a steal here. Not to mention a 3-point play. Good transition from defense to offense. Game-long brilliance once again from Ryo Yamazaki. He was the main hero yesterday. Today, played a supporting role, but still, in the end, it helped his squad to victory. Seiya Funyu with 2 big threes to end the quarter. First period ended in favor of Hiroshima, 23-21. Chilitse Nepawe doing exactly what was instructed of him, getting his team more possessions off the offensive rebounds, and he did exactly that. Not to mention the fact that he had a big slam there as well. Funyu, perfect pass, finds Nick Mayo off that screen from Nepawe. Cody Clark, one of his few instances that he helped out offensively. He was out of sync all throughout this night. Couldn't also stop Dwayne Evans from that coast-to-coast drive. And Evans here with a big block to preserve that 2-point lead. So at the half, it was 43-41 in favor of the boys in white. Third quarter started off on a good note as Evans would hit that three. But this quarter belonged to the boys in red, the San NEOPHOENIX and David Dudzinski. Hitting that open three. He was the leading scorer for San N, and he came up with a slam there. Sneaky play. Getting in for two. Yamauchi, a nice find once again. And just shooting over the outstretched arms of the defense. Third period would end in favor of San N, 55-50. That gave them a lot of hope heading into the final 10 minutes. And Dudzinski tried to answer every basket of Hiroshima. But then a lull in their defensive capabilities allowed that three. And then coming in with a huge shot there was Yamazaki. He also asked for a foul, none given. This is big. Coming off a timeout, Evans finding the open shooter. And again, Rio. Hosokawa would tie things here at 66. You could see he was in rhythm, but they just couldn't find him after that three. Hosokawa, just no way he can guard Evans. That should have been 30 Ravenna. Evans gave them the marginal basket, and here, this would have tied it. Sasaki, good line, just short. Offensive rebound. Ora put that one up. It had a good line, but it didn't drop. So winning this series in 2 straight games are the Hiroshima Dragonflies. As you check out the numbers before we call it a coverage, 3-point victory for the Dragonflies. They shot 51% from 2 as compared to 42% for their opponents. And just about even in terms of 3-point sniping. 35% for San N, 34.8 for the squad of Hiroshima. They got 5 more free throws, which proved to be very crucial. They had 7 misses, but it didn't come back to haunt them. On the other side, 4 misses here for the San NEOPHOENIX. Some misses which they definitely would have wanted back. And all those 4 misses were actually from Yante Maten. 12 turnovers for San N, 15 for the Dragonflies. Look at that big 36-20 advantage. That was on bench points. But the bench wasn't able to help out their squad here today, as the San NEOPHOENIX would lose in 2 straight games here at the Toyohashi City Gym. Rebounding numbers, no surprise, 37-33 in favor of Hiroshima. Assists, San N with a huge lead here. 23 assists to compare just 14 of the Dragonflies, but it was not enough to overcome the onslaught. As we take a look at this key player matchup, 30 would have the upper hand here. But again, you can see tears still all around our gymnasium. This is going to be a painful loss. A loss which they're going to hold on to for the next 4 or 5 months until the new season comes around in October. They had such high hopes. They had one of the best records at 46-14. But that regular season success will not translate into a victory here in the postseason. Scoring leaders: Dudzinski with 25, Ravenna with 13, Hosokawa with 9, Matten with 8, and Cody Clark a dismal 6 points. But I still felt he should have been in the ball game for the final stretch. He can hit that 3. He can also create for his squad to get some open 3s. But he was sitting on the bench, unfortunately, for the NEOPHOENIX. Scoring leaders for the victors: Evans with 18, Blackshear with 12, Yamazaki also with 12, and Mayo and Nakamura with 9 and 8 respectively. Checking out the leaders in the different departments: 25 points for Dudzinski, 14 rebounds for Matten, and 7 assists for Ora. For the visitors, 18 points for Evans, 6 rebounds also for him, and Evans also came up with 5 assists, so he dominated all 3 departments. The Dragonflies move on to the semifinals as they win this game number 2, 69-66, eliminating the San NEOPHOENIX. That's going to do it here for our coverage this Sunday afternoon. Till next time, take care. Have a good week ahead. God bless everybody.